Hi, everybody. As well, we are about to start our session. I'm just checking to ensure that everyone is here. So, my name is William Matau. I am a digital skills trainer at Succinct Investments. And today's session is going to be on um, what do you call this? Staying productive online, which is going to be more focused on remote working. Um, and yeah, I'm just waiting for a couple of so that everybody logs in. In the meantime, if you're joining us, please let me know what's your name, where you joining in from, and yeah, so that we joining in from station. What's your name? Where you joining in from? And what are your expectations as far as today's session is concerned? If you can just do that for me, I'd be a happy man. So for those of you joining in just now, I said, please reintroduce yourself in the comment section. Just go to the comments section and type in um, where you joining in from and what I today's session is concerned. I'll be interacting with you guys through the comments section. So I'm trying to get each one of you familiarized with the um, section. So all you have to do is go into the comment section, introduce yourself, what's your name, where you joining in from, and what are your expectations as far as today's session is concerned. And I am going to, because of time, start a session. So whoever joins will find this underway. So like I said, today's session is on staying productive online, which I said is going to be covering a whole lot of understanding how remote work works. And well, we do know that for those of us who are in South Africa, we are under adjusted lockdown level 4, and as a result, we cannot do things as we used to or as we want to. So we are forced to resort into digital platforms and as well as things like that. So in today's agenda, how to build a productive work environment, and we also have to how to manage and maintain your well-being. So these are the three main pointers will be beneficial, and they're definitely going to be presentation after here. So just checking. I'm going to start. Um, so like in any other session, I always start the sessions with a question. I'm going to need you guys to rush over to the comment section again and let me know how has COVID-19 impacted either as an employee, as an employer, entrepreneur, or just as an individual, as a person? How has COVID-19 impacted your role? Please rush over to the impacted your role as a person, as an employee, as an employer, as an entrepreneur, as a business, and how has it impacted your role? So as you guys answer that, I am going to try and move. So the first pointer on our agenda is set up your remote office. So we're going to be learning on how to set up your remote office. But before we can even talk about setting up remote office, we need to understand as to what remote working is, right? So remote work is a working style. It is based on the concept that work does not need to be done in a specific place to be executed successfully. I think that is clear and straightforward. Remote working is based on that concept to say we do not need to be in a specific environment for us to be able to undertake our work duties. So we can actually work from a place we find comfortable to work. And as a result, we move on to where can people please. So these are some of the places people can remote work. So you can choose to work from home. This is for some employees who prefer or who see working from home as a better, which gives them more flexibility. In a coffee shop, one can choose to work in a library, most of which are those whose work involve. So um, these are some of the places. It's not all of them, but these are some of the places remote working takes place in. So what do you need to work remotely? Um, Obviously, there are some of the things you will need to be able to work remotely away from an office, which is you need a dedicated workspace, which is a space to separate work from home. It's going to be confusion. So you need a space that will be able to separate the two. You need devices. Of course, you need collaborate and work remotely. Remote working is mostly centered around technology, so you need those. And you also need a stable internet connection to work effectively. So these are some of the things you need for remote. And let's move right along. Now, to create your own workspace, whatever place they choose to work in, and in choosing the space, you need to be careful and avoid using the bed as your workplace. We all know that as soon as you pick a bed or a couch, chances are you're going to be less productive and you to be disciplined because we use those for relaxing and things like that. So you want to avoid using the couch as place. You want to set up a table and have a chair. You want to make sure that the space is comfortable. So make sure that it's in a comfortable space, and also consider posture. So you need to consider how you are seated. It is important. Like I said, if this training, we're going to be touching on your well-being. So your posture is also important. And let's try to move right along. So this is physical equipment you might need working remotely. So you'll need your phone, of course, you'll need a computer, and you'll need a notebook working from home. Because, like I said, you remote working is most energy, so you might need those devices. And for those of us who are in South Africa, we so sometimes they announce it, sometimes they do not get to announce it. So you might also want to get a stable power connection, a generator. If you have one, make sure that it's working properly. You might also want to try solar power devices, and you might also try power banks for your devices. So this is for those of us who often get power cuts unannounced. So you also need a backup stable power to ensure that your work is not sabotaged by power cuts and things like that. And you also need to find a sufficient internet connection, or find sufficient internet connections. Among the most basic necessities um, for working in a remote place, a stable internet connection is one of them. So you want to choose the right internet service provider. Of course, this is going to be based on your location, which internet service provider is best suited for your location, which internet service provider works better in your location, and you might also consider a substitute. In as much as you've got one that works better in your location, you also want to try and have a substitute or an alternate service provider, so that when the other one is bad, the other one can be able to still carry on the work. You want to also be able to find the right router, which is important and plays a critical role in ensuring that your remote working is important. Is efficient. A router plays a drastic role in that sense you're going to be undertaking. You also want to use things like your Ethernet cable to USB cables for those who use pocket routers. So it works better than just connecting to a Wi-Fi. And you also want to test your connections and compare your internet speeds. So you need to find a better internet service provider. So you can do that also by comparing internet speed, depending on what you are going to be doing with your internet. So you'll be able to differentiate as to which one works better for your location. Now, I want you guys to rush over to the comment section and tell me, in your opinion, what are the challenges faced by working remotely, or what are the challenges of working remotely? What are the challenges of, please let us know, what are some of the challenges you faced in working? If you didn't get to introduce yourself, please let us expectations in as far as this session is concerned. So rush over some of the challenges faced when working remotely. So challenges of working remotely, there are many challenges to working remotely, such as loneliness or lack of social interaction with fellow workers or co-workers. You do not get to work with people that can get lonely. Self-discipline is one of the greatest challenges, because the efficiency of and the productivity of your work to do what and when to do it. So if you're not self-disciplined, then that poses a serious challenge in as far as you being productive and doing your work efficiently. And also, there are no employee benefits, of course, because you're working from a comfort of your place or a library or whatever the case may be. You might find that there are no benefits as compared to the office. You know, when you work into the office, sometimes you get places where employees are offered like lunch, they're offered things like tea breaks, and you get tea on the office or coffee on the office and things like that. But when you're working remotely, you do not get the luxury of those things. One of the challenges is once you get your momentum going, it becomes a little bit difficult to switch off. So you'll find that it is a little bit difficult to go back to your normal life other than work. So you'll be working overtime, working overdrive, and things like that. And one other challenge is the fear of missing out. You know, some people get distracted when they work remotely simply because they fear, because they're not at the office, and then they're constantly distracted of what could be happening at the office, what might be going on, and things like that. So the fear of missing out is one of the challenges. But as far as there are challenges, there are also benefits. So what are the benefits of remote working? So rush over again to the comment section and let me know what are some of the challenges or the benefits rather of remote working. So I'm going to be expecting comments. I see people have joined in. Welcome, guys, and thank you very much for joining in. Please rush over to the comment section and let me know, in your opinion, what are the benefits of remote working? As you guys do that, I'm going to side. I'll be reading yours out loud as soon as I notice them in the comment section. So the benefits of remote working or of working remotely for employees is flexibility. It allows you to be flexible, when to clock in, when to clock out, when to take breaks, and things like that. And there's no commuting. There's no need for you to travel from one place to the other. So it makes it a little bit easier. It gives you time with family. It brings less distractions, and it, of course, generates a high morale. So these are some of the benefits you get from working remotely. I'll be expecting your opinions as far as that. Um, but those were for so these ones were for employees, and these are for businesses. So it reduces overhead costs for businesses, and it brings a greater productivity, and it gives access to a wider pool of talent. Because for businesses, it's normally remote working will normally involve collaborations, and things like that. So it brings a wider pool of talent, and it improves employee retention. Um, so those are some of the benefits for the businesses. So I'm going to pause here for questions. If there be any other questions, for those of you who just joined us, welcome and thank you very much for joining in. And for those who have been with us, please, if you have any other question, please go into the comment section and let me know, and I will entertain your question. So I'm going to pause for questions. Um, I thought I'd get responses, but there are no responses. It's okay. For those of us who just joined, please rush over to the comment section, and let me know what's your name and where are you joining in from. So, what is your name and where are you joining us from? Um, if there be any other questions or if there be a need for clarity, just rush over to the comment section and let me know. And I will entertain questions. Great. As you type in the of our agenda is how to build a productive work environment, which is important in remote working. So understand why your work environment is important. The quality of your workspace is vital to productivity. So you might want to get a designate an area or get an area that is specifically for remote working purposes, which is separate from your normal house area. You might also want to find the right chair for you. You might also want to get a proper filing system to organize your life. Of course, one of the greatest challenges in remote working is filing. You find that everything is just everywhere. So you want to get a proper filing system so that your working environment is organized. So it is important to get your working environment in order because 40% it provides 40% decrease 40% in decrease in productivity is due to workplace distractions and 20% increase in errors. So these are just some of the statistics. How can you minimize distractions? So I'm going to need you guys to again go to the comment section. I'm not seeing comments. Go to the comment section and let me know how can you minimize distractions. How can you minimize distractions? So I'll be expecting your responses on that regard. How can you minimize distractions from your working environment or remote working? What are some of the things that you think might help in minimizing distractions? As you guys are responding to that, I am going to go ahead and mention a few I have on my side, which steps to minimize distractions. Step one, you want to let others know your work hours. So if you're working from home, you might want to tell your family from this time to this time I'll be working, so that they understand when to do what and how to do what. Um, so yeah, so do one thing at a time. Multiple things can cause distractions. And most of the times you might find that and at the end of the day, you're not productive. So you want to focus on one thing at a time. Avoid TV and household distractions, which is one of the most famous distractions as far as working from home is concerned. So you want to avoid TV and household distractions. Put away all pets. If you've got dogs, cats, and things like that, you might want to put them away for the whole working duration so that you are productive because time they can pop in unannounced and things like that, unexpected, and before you know it, you are distracted by them. You want to also take regular breaks. Breaks are important as far as um, remote work, as far as remote working is concerned. So you want to be able to take proper free breaks. Remember, one of the things we're talking about is your well-being. So for one to be productive, they need to be able to take constant and frequent breaks, and need to stay away from the devices. When I say take a break, I do not mean check your doing anything. Your mind is not processing anything. So how can you improve productivity within teams? One of the big aspects of remote working is teamwork and collaborations, as I have indicated earlier on. So how can we improve productivity within teams. So productivity within teams relies mostly on communication. Project management. Remote team members need to be able to plan and collaborate on commitments, deliverables, and tasks. They also need to track the flow of work from start to finish, right? So you might need to be able to establish a vision and deliverables, establish logistics for team communications. So teams needs to be able to communicate properly and they know when to do what and how to undertake it. And the idea is to promote visibility and transparency for all work. So everyone might need to be transparent and visible with everyone understand where the progress stands at, and so that everyone will know to proceed forward going from there. You might also want to track the quality and status of projects. So time and again, you might find that you need to review projects to just check on statuses and the quality of the projects. Identify and those are some of the things of how to improve productivity in a collaborative way. So 70% of workplace, I said, collaboration is based mostly on communications. So 70% of workplace mistakes are due to poor communication. So because somebody miscommunicated and the message wasn't received as it was, you find that mistakes happen. So these are some of the general communication platforms you might want to use in as far as collaborations are important. So strong communication integral to business success. So you might have to one, use email for formal conversations. So for those work-related conversations, you might need to use email, instant messaging platforms for fast conversations. If you need fast responses and things like that, you might need to use instant messaging platforms and collaboration tools for project work. Of course, if we're going to be working on a project, we need to be able to work on the same project at the same time and still not interfere with each other's work. So you might need to look at some of the collaboration tools to use for your project. And you might need to set out rules to communicate effectively. All right. In order for communication to be effective, you need to set rules. And some of those might be to communicate clearly, to think about the type of message and context, and to respond promptly, set and role model the guidelines. So if you've set rules to be followed, you need to be able to follow through those particular rules and ensure that they are followed to the letter. So rules are important in like saying it. Video meetings and video calls are some of the most advanced and becoming more famous in workplace collaborations these days because of the lockdowns and the pandemic. So video meetings and calls enable teams to communicate and collaborate in real time, right? So they help in connecting teams working remotely, and they also improve levels of communication and they boost collaboration. So they're important because we time and again have to meet if we are working on a project. And I'm going to be going through some of them, trying to explain them bit by bit. So Google Meet is one of the video meeting call platform. Google Meet keeps your team connected with enterprise-graded video conferencing built on Google's robust and secure global infrastructure. Meet is included with the G Suite and the G Suite for Education. G Suite, which is now transitioned to Workspace. So it used to be called G Suite, but now it's called Workspace. Zoom is one of the platforms that gained fame around the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic because a whole lot of people needed to meet. And as a result, Zoom was one of the most famous used applications. So Zoom is an application that can be downloaded either on your computer or your mobile device. From Zoom, you can request a demo or even download it for free. You can use Zoom to host or join in a meeting, and it can also accommodate up to 100 people to join on one meeting or class in the free mode. So you might also want to look into it. Microsoft Teams is one of the softwares. So Microsoft Teams enables businesses to collaborate and communicate with team members across the world. So Microsoft Teams is mostly used by businesses. And in Microsoft Teams, you get to create um, um, you get to create teams. It allows you to utilize the chat and video call functions to boost communication. And three, it allows you to share documents and collaborate with ease. So these are some of the benefits of this. We had the likes of Zoom and these other famous ones. We had Skype. So with Skype video chat app, you will have access to a variety of innovative features such as immersive full video screen, send chat invite to anyone, and you can also have a background blur. So it allows you to have a blurry background. And here is some of the steps to run effective meetings. So running effective meetings requires one to be able to set agendas, consider your tone of voice, and encourage using cameras. So you want to time and again allow your fellow employees to use cameras. Otherwise, you're going to be in the meeting alone. You'll be thinking people are attending the meeting. They're not on the meeting. They just logged in and went on to do whatever they'll be doing. And you need to be timely. Time is important in conducting running meetings. To be timely. Steps to run effective meetings. One, prepare yourselves, dress appropriately, consider your lighting, consider your background, and consider your audio. So these are some of the things to be able to run a video conferencing meeting. You need to be dressed properly. You need to prepare yourself. You need to consider your lighting. Lighting is important because otherwise people won't be able to see you. Can't nobody see you, and things like that. You'll be thinking everybody sees you. Can't nobody see you, and things like that. So these are some of the things to be able to consider when you're running a video conferencing. Tips for collaborating effectively. So these are some of the tips you will need if you're going to be remotely collaborating with either fellow workers, co-business partners, and things like that. Number one, equip your team with the right tools. Tools are everything in collaboration. If they do not have the right tools, they're definitely not going to produce the right results. So equip them with the right tools. Make project management easier. Make document sharing easy and accessible. Make sure that whatever document has to be circulated, it is circulated in the easiest way possible, and it is accessible to those who need access to it, so that everybody is on the same page. Encourage collaboration within departments. It is important for departments to be able to collaborate together. And because if they do not, then the project stands a better chance of going south. Prioritize company culture. If there's a specific culture that is being followed on or adhered to by the company, still make sure that you follow right to it in form of conferencing. Always over communicate. So if you want to remain productive, you want to always over communicate. Communicate with your team regularly. Everybody knows what's the latest on the project, and they can be able to give input based on what's happening lately. So always over communicate, be disciplined. Remote working is not a vacation nor a paid leave. So understand that you're not on a vacation, you're not on a leave, you're just working from a remote place, which is not your normal working environment. Have your tools ready for work. So make sure that you have the tools you need to work remotely. We've touched on a couple of those when we started the session. So make sure that you have all the tools you need to ensure productivity. Find your booster and use it. Use what gets you energized and ready for work when you need it. So find that thing that gets you in the mood. Some it's songs, some it's um, 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 you know meditation, some it's prayer and things like that. So you might need to find that which boosts you and gets you ready for the day. I am going to pause here for questions. So if there be any other questions, please rush over to the comment section and let me know what your question is, and I will attend to it. If not, the moderator Rabba will take care of it and I will entertain them right here. So please rush over to the comment section if you've got any question, any comment, let me know in the comment section. And if you just joined us, please do let me know what's your name, where you're joining in from, and what are your expectations as far as this session is concerned. What is your name, where you're joining in from, and what are your expectations as far as this session is concerned? Or if you have any other question, please rush over to the comment section and just leave it there, and we will entertain it in a few. Go to the last part of this session, which is how to manage and maintain your well-being. So remote working requires one to be in a very good well-being. So why is it important to manage your well-being? This is a question I request you guys to just go over and answer. Just let me know, why is it important um, to manage your well-being, to ensure that you are well? A few reasons from my side, and I hope you guys are responding to that. So it's important to manage your well-being because it impacts your overall health, right? And it is important to manage your well-being because it leads to greater productivity. A healthier person leads to more productive days and work. It increases your resilience, so it keeps you focused when you need to be focused. It keeps your it boosts your morale and levels of happiness. So when an individual is happy, we know that productivity is going to be at a roof peak. So these are some of the reasons you need to consider and manage your well-being in as far as remote working is concerned. So the next question will then be, what can you do to manage being? What do you think one can do to be able to manage their well-being? their well-being, what do you think one has to do to be able to manage their well-being? Please rush over to the comment section again. So it's an interactive class today. In the comment section, what can you do to manage your well-being? Take regular breaks. I know it sounds easy, but sometimes we do not even see it happening. Overworking can happen without one even realizing that they're overworking, and they don't take time to take breaks. So set reminders to take breaks. Um, have alarms that will let you know it's break time. Be clear with your team when you're leaving. When it's break time, don't just stand and leave. Let those you're working with, you're collaborating with, know that you're on a break, and let them know how long it's going to take. Turn off notifications when on a break. So you want to not be distracted by notifications coming in. And like I said, when you take a break, it's not you going through your cell phone. It's you taking a break. Like you do not have to process anything, just relaxing. Um, and schedule in an activity like taking a walk, riding a bike, or going to the gym at the end of the day. So these are some of the things you might do. So you might want to go for a walk, or take a bicycle ride, or go to the gym after a whole day of work. Be ready for culture shift. To help you embrace the shift, consider the following. Trust your overall performance, right? Um, and rethink the concept of work, because you're going to be working remotely. Everything might not be as it used to be when you were working from the office or things like that. So you might need to rethink the concept of work. Understand your commitments. So you need to clarify your commitments, and you also need to be patient. So these are some of the things you might need to look into or consider, because the culture is going to be shifting a little bit, or some drastically, because of remote working situation. So managing your overall well-being requires: one, you exercise regularly, view mental health as seriously as physical health. So as much as you exercise and ensure that you're physically in shape and everything, also consider your mental health. It plays a critical role in your productivity in as far as remote working is concerned. So you might need to actually take serious caution when it comes to your mental health and mental health. You might also want to check in with your manager or your team regularly. Like I said, over communicate. So you want to check in with your team and your manager regularly. Separate your professional and personal lives. Now it is that time we're in, because we working remotely and most of us are working from home. You might need to be able to bring restrictions and boundaries to work life and personal lives. So those are two different lives, and they have to be respectively. So organize in-person social meetups, right? You might need to time and again meet with people. So I'm going to pause here for questions. I'm going to pause here for questions. If you have any question, please rush over to the comment section and let me know. And let's entertain questions. Um, Questions. If there be any questions, it's time for them to be voiced out. If you've got any questions so far, please type it in the comment section and I will attend to it, or the moderator will attend to it, and we will entertain it. So if you have any question, now is the time to ask. I'm waiting for the questions in the comment section. Even if you've got just a comment, you can leave it in the comment section. You can also rate so far. So if you feel you need to rate the session so far, how am I doing? Am I terrible at it? Am I good at it? Is it knowledgeable? And things like that. So now is the time for you to express your view on that as well. So if you have any question, brush over to the comment section and let me know. Comment, queries? No? All right. In the absence of questions, I am going to next steps. So what are you going to be doing next? Since we've learned all of this, since you've had knowledge to all of this, what is it that you're going to be doing next? How are you going to implement what you have learned? So I'm going to need you guys to respond. For those of us who've been in the session, what are you going to do differently, and what's your next step? So what are your next steps from here? I'm also expecting comments and responses from people. What is your next step, or what are your next steps? What are your next steps? As you guys are still responding to that, alternatively, learning is the best next step from here. So we have learned so far. Um, but there might be some of the things that you feel I have missed and things like that, or you feel they need clarity on. So you can always log on to Google's digital skills courses page and try to find some of the courses that are breaking every concept you might need an understanding on into smaller and understandable chunks. So you might need to go over that. You might need to go to that link and just learn from there. The free courses that Google is offering on that platform. One of the most famous one there is Google Fundamentals of Digital Marketing course, which is free, and many other courses are for free. So I'm going to drop the Google so that everyone can be able to learn. So that when we go back to life, to normal life, we are at least advanced than when we were. Or if you want to find out more on what's happening on the GDSA, Google Digital Skills for Africa program, you might as well follow us. Please follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram. We are Digital Skills for Africa on Facebook, and we are Digital Skills AF on Twitter, and we are Digital Skills AF / on Instagram. So always make sure that you follow to be able to know as to what's the latest as far as the Google Digital Skills program is concerned, um, and things like that. So these are some of the steps I will leave you guys with, but I'm still waiting for you to respond as to what what is your next step personally? What is your next step? Since we have learned, since we've had time to go through all of this slides, what is your next step? So I'm going to drop this link in the comment section so that anyone who needs it can have it whilst I wait for you guys to respond to what is the next step? What are you doing next? What are you doing next? Okay. In the absence of questions, thank you guys very much for joining in today's session. If you wish to join in on most of or many other of our sessions, always ensure that you check in with our YouTube channel or just send us an email to succinctinvestments@gmail.com. So if you want to know more about our next sessions and what they'll be entailing, just hit us up there and let us explain as to um, what is coming next. Or if you've got any other question that you did not get to share here, please send us an email as well so that we attend to that. And if you've got any other query you might need clarity on, just make sure that you send it through as well. So thank you guys very much for joining. I truly appreciated having you. We've reached the end of our session, and I hope everybody picked something, learned something to take home. So yeah, thank you guys. See you in the next session. Thank you very much. If you are there, thank you. So I didn't get the comments. I would entertain them. I didn't get um, responses. I would entertain them. So thank you guys very much. See you in the next session.